Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Learn English podcast. This is a space where we practice English together by talking about real life topics. I'm Clara.
And I'm Mark. And today we're going to dive into something that almost everyone experiences in their daily life: how social media affects mental health.
Yes, social media is everywhere, in our pockets, in our workplaces, in our schools. It connects us, entertains us, sometimes even teaches us. But at the same time, it can also cause stress, loneliness, and self doubt.
And that's what makes this topic so interesting. We can't really escape social media. It's part of modern life. But the way we use it can either make us feel better or worse.
In today's episode, we'll look at the good and bad sides of social media, share some personal stories, talk about research, and also give you practical tips on how to use social media in a healthy way.
So if you've ever stayed up too late scrolling through Instagram, or if you felt jealous when you see someone's perfect vacation photos, this episode is for you.
Let's start with a simple question, Mark. How much time do you think you spend on social media every day?
Hmm. If I'm being honest, maybe around 2 to 3 hours. I check Twitter for news, Instagram for photos, and sometimes TikTok just for fun. And sometimes, I don't even realize how long I've been scrolling.
I can totally relate. For me, I think it's closer to 3 or even 4 hours on busy days. I love Instagram stories and also watching short videos. It feels relaxing, but at the same time, when I check the clock, I'm shocked.
Exactly. Social media has become part of our routine. Wake up, check your phone, lunch break, scroll through TikTok. Before bed, one more look at Instagram.
And because it's so easy to access, we don't notice how much time we're spending. That's why people say social media can be addictive.
But at the same time, we can't deny it plays a big role in our lives. It keeps us updated. It helps us stay in touch with friends, and for many people, it's even part of their work.
Yes, influencers, content creators, even teachers use social media. So it's not just for fun anymore. It's also a tool for learning, business, and communication.
Let's be fair. Social media isn't just bad. There are many positive sides.
Definitely. For example, staying connected with friends and family. Imagine living in another country. Without social media, it would be much harder to share your life.
Yes, a simple message or video call can make you feel close to someone far away. That's a huge benefit.
Also, social media gives people a voice. Anyone can share their story, their art, their music. You don't need to be famous, you just need an account.
Exactly. And many people use platforms like YouTube or TikTok to learn new skills. From cooking tutorials to language lessons, social media is full of free education.
And let's not forget about communities. If you love books, you can join a book club online. If you struggle with anxiety, you can find support groups. That can be very comforting.
So, in short, social media can create connection, learning, creativity, and support.
Now let's talk about the dark side. What do you think is the biggest problem, Mark?
I'd say comparison. People often compare their lives with the perfect pictures they see online.
Yes, we forget that people usually only post the good parts, the holidays, the smiles, the achievements. They rarely post the bad days.
And when we compare our whole life, including the bad days, to someone else's highlights, we feel like we're not good enough. That can hurt self-esteem.
Another issue is cyberbullying. Some people hide behind screens and say hurtful things they would never say in real life.
Yes, and negative comments can really damage someone's mental health. It's easy to say ignore it, but words do hurt.
And then there's addiction. Many people can't stop checking their phones. Some feel nervous if they don't see notifications. That constant need for likes or validation can create anxiety.
Also, social media can affect sleep. If you use your phone late at night, the bright screen and endless content keep your brain active. You go to bed later and sleep worse.
And lack of sleep is directly linked to poor mental health. So it's all connected.
All right, Clara, let's bring in some research because it's always good to look at facts, not just opinions.
I agree. So, according to a 2019 study from the American Psychological Association, teenagers who spend more than 3 hours a day on social media are at a much higher risk of experiencing symptoms of anxiety, depression, and poor sleep.
3 hours doesn't sound like much, right? I mean, if you think about it, many people easily spend that just by scrolling in the morning, during lunch, and before bed.
Exactly. That's why it's such an eye opening number. And another interesting study from the University of Pennsylvania asked students to limit their social media use to 30 minutes a day. After 3 weeks, those students reported lower levels of loneliness and depression compared to the group that continued their usual habits.
Wow, that shows how quickly our brains and emotions respond to less exposure. Just a small change, 30 minutes a day, made such a difference.
Yes, and it's not just about time spent. Research also shows that how we use social media matters. For example, passive scrolling, just looking at posts without interacting, tends to increase feelings of envy and sadness.
But active use, like commenting, sending messages, or creating posts, can actually increase feelings of connection and belonging. It's like the difference between watching people have fun at a party versus actually talking to someone at the party.
That's such a good analogy, Mark. Another interesting fact: different age groups are affected differently. For teenagers, it's often about social pressure and comparison with peers. For adults, it's more about distraction and stress from too much information.
Yes, like doom scrolling, when people keep reading bad news online, that can make stress and anxiety even worse.
Exactly. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, many studies showed that social media was both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, it helped people stay connected and informed. On the other hand, the constant stream of negative news increased fear and stress.
So we see a pattern. Social media is not simply good or bad. It depends on how often we use it, how we use it, and even what kind of content we consume.
Right? That's why experts suggest treating social media like food. A little bit can be healthy and enjoyable. Too much, or the wrong kind, can harm your body and mind.
I love that comparison. It's like eating junk food every day. At first it feels good, but long term, it's not healthy. Social media is the same.
So the research teaches us two key lessons. Limit your time, because too much is linked to poor mental health. Be mindful of your use. Active, positive engagement is better than passive scrolling.
And that gives us a nice bridge to our next segment, where we'll share some personal experiences with social media and mental health.
Mark, have you ever felt stressed because of social media?
Yes, absolutely. I remember a time when many of my friends were posting about their travels. I was at home working, and I felt jealous. I thought, why is everyone else having fun while I'm stuck here?
I can relate. For me, it's about achievements. When I see people posting about promotions, new jobs, or buying houses, I sometimes feel like I'm behind.
But the truth is, we don't see the full story. Maybe they struggled for years before that success. Maybe their life isn't as perfect as it looks.
Exactly. That's why it's important to remind ourselves social media is not reality, it's just a small piece of reality. So, Mark, we've talked about the good and the bad of social media, and we've even looked at research. But the real question is, what can we do about it? How do we protect our mental health while still enjoying social media?
That's the key, right? Because most of us don't want to delete every app and disappear from the online world. We want balance. So let's share some practical tips.
Okay, tip number one, set time limits. Many phones now have built in tools where you can track how long you spend on each app. I set mine to only allow 1 hour of Instagram a day. If I reach that limit, my phone gives me a reminder.
That's smart. I did something similar. I allow myself 15 minutes of TikTok during lunch and 15 minutes at night. Otherwise, I know I'll end up scrolling for an hour without even realizing.
Exactly. And it's not about being super strict, it's about being mindful. Sometimes we don't notice how time flies, so a reminder helps us pause.
All right, tip number 2. Curate your feed. That means choose carefully who you follow. If someone's posts always make you feel jealous, insecure, or stressed, it's okay to unfollow or mute them.
Yes, I used to follow some perfect lifestyle accounts. Every time I saw their posts, I felt like my life wasn't good enough, so I muted them. Now I follow more positive content, like accounts about mindfulness, travel photography, and of course, language learning.
I did the same thing. I follow accounts that share quick health tips and funny memes. That way, when I scroll, I feel entertained or inspired, not stressed.
That's great. Tip number three, take breaks. Some people call it a digital detox. You can try not using social media for 1 day each week, or even just for a few hours before bed.
I remember when I tried a full weekend without social media. At first, it felt strange, like something was missing. But then I realized I had more time to read, cook, and even meet a friend face to face.
Yes, and breaks remind us that life exists outside the screen. It gives our brains a rest from constant stimulation.
Tip number 4. Use social media actively, not passively. What do I mean by that? Don't just scroll endlessly. Instead, comment on a friend's photo, send a message, or share something meaningful.
That's a great point, because passive scrolling often leads to comparison, but active engagement builds connection. For example, instead of just watching a friend's story, I might reply with a short message like, "That looks fun! How was your trip?" That starts a real conversation.
Exactly. Social media feels better when it's about interaction, not just consumption.
Tip number five, avoid social media before bed. The blue light from screens can make it harder to fall asleep, and the endless content keeps your brain awake.
Yes, I used to check Twitter every night before sleeping. The problem was sometimes I read stressful news, and then I couldn't relax. Now, I try to stop using my phone at least 30 minutes before bed.
That's such a healthy habit. I replaced my late night scrolling with reading a book, and honestly, my sleep improved a lot.
Tip number 6. Remember that social media is not reality. People usually show the highlights of their life, the vacations, the celebrations, the successes. They don't always show the struggles, the boring days, or the failures.
Yes, I remind myself of that often. If I start feeling jealous, I tell myself, this is just one photo. I don't know the full story behind it that helps me put things in perspective.
And finally, tip number 7. Focus on offline connections. Social media is great, but nothing can replace real face-to-face interactions.
Exactly. Call a friend, go for a walk together, join a local club, spend time with family. These real world connections are the strongest protection for our mental health.
So, to recap: 1. Set time limits. 2. Curate your feed. 3. Take breaks. 4. Use it actively, not passively. 5. Avoid screens before bed. 6. Remember it's not reality. 7. Build real connections offline.
I love that list. And the good news is, you don't need to do all of them at once. Even starting with one or two can make a big difference.
Yes, small steps add up. If you just reduce your screen time a little and focus more on real connections, you'll probably feel happier and calmer.
And that's what healthy social media use is all about, using technology in a way that serves us, not controls us. So, Mark, final question. Is social media more good or more bad?
I think it's neutral. It's like a knife. You can use it to cook a meal or to hurt yourself. It depends on how you use it.
Exactly. Social media can inspire us, connect us, and teach us. But if we use it too much or without awareness, it can hurt us.
So the message is, be mindful. Use social media, but don't let it use you.
That's all for today's episode of Learn English Podcast. We hope this conversation not only gave you ideas about social media and mental health, but also helped you practice your English.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with a friend.
And remember, take care of your mental health, both online and offline.
See you next time.